I'll let you
And
into a little secret because they'd probably fixed this by now. And it was a long time ago. So more than 10 years ago, I was a consultant and we were working in the insurance sector. And I rocked into quite a well-established, very established insurance business and asked a similar question. How do you manage all of your clients and all of these insurance, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And they said, we use 10,000 linked spreadsheets. I know, an insurance business. And I'm sure the regulators probably already told them that that's not the way you should do things. But, that to me is how far you can go if you don't think about your software strategy. And this comes up so much right now is what is your strategy to address where technology is going? And I was
so,
told,
sorry, go ahead.
go on, sorry, I'm
I was gonna
rambling.
say, because you caught my attention of like when I'm having that conversation with clients and I'm saying you're doing all of this in Google Sheets, like that's not good. We need to get you into some kind of integrated system that has more structure and a better framework to it. But then a lot of the times the response is, but it works fine. And even what you just said, the fact that an insurance company can scale and grow on 10,000 spreadsheets, what's your response to that sort of thing and explaining the value of getting out of the Google Sheets, getting out of the spreadsheets and into an integrated structured system?
So I will use the quote from another client that I spoke to yesterday who was looking to do some automation. They're a big international client, and I'm not going to mention any names for obvious reasons. But they said, the CEO that I spoke to, he said he went over to look at the data that he needed. So he needs to scale his business because it needs to grow and they're not servicing their customers as well as they would like. And he said he wandered over to take a look at where is this data going and how is it getting in and out of the systems that they're using. And he said he sat with one of his colleagues and she was taking 2 hours every time a new request came in to export the data out of a spreadsheet, filter out the information that they needed, and forward it on to the right person who was the next stage in the process. 2 hours. I said I could automate that such that it would be done in literally seconds. And that's why, because people forget about the cost. Oh, we're cutting and pasting. Yeah, cutting and pasting, you can spend hours and hours and hours, and that has a cost. And it
And
has a cost for
accuracy
your
too when you're cutting and
competitiveness.
pasting.
Yeah, it's, that's another phrase, email and spreadsheets, cutting and pasting. We do it manually. All of those things are just red flags because they're not sustainable anymore.
And no, that definitely, I think what you just said makes sense is there's a lot of things that you can do right with spreadsheets and benefit from because they're a great tool, but there are an infinite number of ways in which you can lose time through them. Something along those lines kind of portrays the value of getting to something structured and
And I
integrated.
think, I don't blame the individuals at all. When you get stuck in a situation, it's, well, what tools have I got available to me right now? And for most people, that was, I've got spreadsheets. I'll try and do it in a spreadsheet because those are the only tools I have available, which kind of leads us onto I see it a lot, particularly in really big organizations, is that they're all Office 365, SharePoint, Excel, Word. And I think people forget that that software is 40 years old.
Hmm.
Part of you is like, well, it's done really well to stand the test of time. And part of you is, well, do you really want to use 40-year-old software when AI isn't tapping on your shoulder?
Hmm.
So it's a bit of a balance.